In this lesson, we're going to talk about querying your database. Now, there are times when you want specific information in one table about a record. For example, if we want only to know the customer name in this table and the city where the customer is from, so we will write a query that will actually retrieve only this information for us. So the query will go into the table and only pick up the name of the customer and the city where the customer is from. But let's basically go in and look at how to write queries in Microsoft Access. Now, we might want to go into the create, and we want to create a query based on a query wizard. The query wizard is a simple step-by-step way of going into a table or tables and selecting required information. In this case, let's go in and say we want to design a table. Now, based on the query that we want to be writing, you will find that you've got various query types in there, where the first one is a select query or the simple query, which allows you to go in and select fields from multiple tables and give you the results. So it can be querying a table or multi-tables. We've got a cross-tab query, which is a query that we use to calculate and summarize table data in a spreadsheet-like format. So if we have different tables with values in them and we want to calculate those values, the cross-tab query is the best one to use. And the find duplicate query is a query that will go in and find duplicate values in a table. This is important where you've got a lot of information in your table and you want to actually find the duplicate values in there and eliminate the duplicate values. Now, the find unmatched query is a query that finds records in one table or query that have no relationship in another table. So you've got two joined tables, but you've got information in one table that doesn't meet the requirement of another table. So that's the find unmatched. Now let's go in and see the simple query wizard. We click on simple query wizard, we go OK. Then we can go in and look at the tables that we want to select information from. In this case, I want to go in and look at the employees table. Now, I might want to look at the employees, their employee ID, and I want to go in and look at their let's look at the state where the employees are from. So I can actually query that or build a simple query that will give me this information about a particular employee. This is important and this is useful basically where you have a bulk of information that you have to search first and filter and so on, so you can actually quickly build a query that will actually display the information for you. Now let's go in and look at the query, the finished query itself. Now I can go in and have only in here a query that gives me only the employee ID and their state. This is just my simple query wizard. Now your query can be selecting information from multiple tables. In this case, let's go in and see the design view of our query in here. Let's first go in and display the query object. Now you'll find there that we've got the query, and then we've got in the object window we've got the query there. If I go into the home tab and go in and say I want the design view of my query. Now the design view of the query is a bit different from that of your tables. Now if I go in and say I want to do a query based on multiple tables, I'll go in and show table and say which other table, by the way, do I want to display information from. In this case, I would want to go into the department and go in and say, is there any values that I want to display from both the employee and the employee table and the department's table. Let's add the department number in my query. So now this query will go into the employees and look for the employee ID, the state where they come from, but it will also go in and find a department name where the particular employee is working. So my query now is actually querying both tables. If I go in and run the query, you will see now that my query has got the employee ID, the state, and the department name. So it's looking at both two tables for this information.